I need to tell you this the right way, or it won't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, you'll think I imagined it. I didn't. I wish I had. What I saw out there didn't just follow me home. It stayed. I don't mean in the woods. I mean here. In the quiet moments. In the parts of the night where everything should feel safe. That's why I'm telling you now, before I lose the nerve again. Because if I wait too long, I start convincing myself it wasn't real. But it was. And it started with something small. Something easy to ignore. Tracks. Just tracks in the dirt that didn't belong to anything I knew. I wasn't supposed to be out there that day. The trail had been closed for a week after a storm rolled through and knocked down half the tree line. Nothing serious, just debris, unstable ground, the usual warnings. But I'd been hunting that area for years, long before anyone thought to mark it with signs and caution tape. I knew the terrain, or at least I thought I did. There's a difference between knowing a place and understanding it. I didn't understand that place. Not really. It started off normal, too normal maybe. The kind of quiet that feels staged, like something's holding its breath. No wind, no birds. Just that dull, empty stillness pressing in from every direction. Even the crunch of my boots sounded wrong, like it didn't belong in that space. I remember pausing once, halfway down a narrow stretch between two clusters of fallen trees, just to listen. Nothing. Not even insects. And that's when I should have turned back. That's the moment I keep replaying, because everything after that, it builds from there. The first track was easy to miss, half covered in damp soil, pressed deep like whatever made it carried weight. I almost stepped right over it. But something about the shape caught my eye. Not hoof, not paw. Too long, too narrow. And the depth, it wasn't consistent with any animal I'd seen around there. I crouched down, brushed the dirt aside with my glove, and felt this cold knot tighten in my stomach. It looked almost intentional, like a foot, but not human. Not exactly. I told myself it was erosion, or maybe overlapping prints that just looked strange from the angle. That's what you do in moments like that. You explain it away. You keep moving. So I did. I followed the trail deeper, marking trees out of habit, keeping a loose mental map of where I was. And then I saw another one. Clear this time. No mistaking the outline. Same shape, same unnatural length, and spaced farther apart than any normal stride should be. That's when it stopped being curiosity and started becoming something else. Not fear, not yet, just awareness. Like I wasn't alone anymore. Like something had been there before me, moving in the same direction. And suddenly I wasn't tracking game. I was tracking that. I should have turned back then, too. Instead, I followed it. The prints led off the trail, cutting through a patch of ground where the soil turned softer, darker, the kind that holds impressions well. And they were everywhere now. Not scattered, not random, deliberate, a path. I remember thinking how wrong it felt, how no animal I knew would move like that, in such a straight, purposeful line. It didn't wander. It didn't circle. It went forward, always forward. I checked the time. Still early. Plenty of daylight left. Enough to satisfy the part of me that wanted answers, that needed answers. So I kept going. The forest changed the deeper I went. Not all at once, gradually. Trees grew thicker, branches lower, light thinner. The air felt heavier, too, like it carried something I couldn't name. A smell, maybe. Faint, damp, rotting leaves mixed with something sharper underneath. Metallic, almost. I noticed it, then tried not to think about it. But it stuck with me. And then I realized something else. The prints had changed direction. At first, I thought I'd just lost the trail. Maybe I'd drifted off course without noticing. But when I stepped back, retraced a few paces, I saw it clearly. The line of prints didn't just continue forward. It curved. Subtly. Gradually. Like whatever made them had shifted its path. Toward me. I stood there longer than I should have, staring at the ground like it might rearrange itself into something that made sense. My brain tried to process it logically. Animals circle. They double back. It happens. But this didn't feel like that. The spacing between the prints hadn't changed. The depth hadn't changed. Just the direction. As if it had noticed something. As if it had noticed me. That was the first time I felt it. Not fear exactly. More like being seen. Like a pressure at the back of your neck when you know someone's watching, even if you can't prove it. I turned slowly, scanning the trees behind me. Nothing. Just trunks and shadow, and that same unnatural stillness pressing in. I remember saying something out loud, I don't even know what, just to break the silence. My voice sounded small, swallowed up almost immediately, and for a second I thought I heard something answer. Not words, just movement. Quick, subtle, off to my left. I froze, listened. Nothing again. But the feeling didn't go away. If anything, it got worse. Thicker. Closer. Like whatever had been moving out there wasn't trying to stay hidden anymore. It just didn't need to be seen to be present. I looked back at the prints, and that's when I understood something I didn't want to understand. They weren't leading somewhere. They were adjusting, tracking me. I wish I could tell you I left right then, that I trusted that instinct and walked away. But that's not how it happened. Because once that idea took hold, once it rooted itself in my mind, it changed everything. Every sound, every shadow, every step I took after that felt like part of something I couldn't see the edges of. I started moving faster. Not running. Not yet. Just enough to create distance, to feel like I was taking control again. But the terrain didn't make it easy. Roots caught at my boots. Branches scraped against my arms. The forest felt tighter now, like it was closing in. And then I saw another print. Closer. Too close. Fresh. The soil around it still slightly shifting, like it had been pressed moments before. I didn't hear anything approach. I didn't see anything move. But it had been there. Right there. While I was looking the other way. That's when the fear finally hit. Not sharp, not sudden. Slow and heavy, settling into my chest like it had always been there waiting. Because whatever this was, it wasn't just following. It was staying just out of sight, matching me, anticipating me. I turned in a full circle, heart hammering now, trying to catch even a glimpse of it. And for a split second, I thought I did. A shape between the trees. Tall, too tall. Gone the moment I focused on it. I started backing away, careful at first, then faster. The urge to run building with every step. My breathing got louder, too loud. I tried to quiet it, but it didn't help. Everything felt amplified, my movements, my thoughts, my fear. And then I heard it clearly, footsteps, not mine, behind me. Heavy, measured, keeping pace. I didn't look back, not immediately. Some part of me knew that if I did, if I turned and saw it fully, something would change. Something I couldn't undo. So I kept moving, faster now, almost stumbling, trying to put distance between me and whatever was following. But the footsteps didn't fade. They stayed with me, same distance, same rhythm. And when I finally did turn, when instinct lost out to panic, and I needed to see, there was nothing there. Just trees, Just shadow. Just that same suffocating silence. Except it wasn't silent anymore, because the footsteps had stopped the exact moment I looked. And somehow, that was worse. I didn't run right away. I should have, but something about the silence after those footsteps stopped. It pinned me in place, like whatever was out there wanted me to look, wanted me to realize it could move without being seen. I told myself I was imagining it, that adrenaline was messing with my head. But then I looked down again. Another print, closer than the last, fresh. I hadn't heard it step there. My chest tightened. That slow, creeping fear turned sharp. I started moving again, faster now, not caring about direction anymore, just away. Branches hit my face, roots caught my boots, but I didn't stop. I could feel it keeping pace without hearing it. That was the worst part. When it made noise, at least it felt real. When it didn't, it felt everywhere. Then off to my right, something moved. Not subtle this time. A shape slipping between trees. Tall. Wrong. It didn't move like anything natural. Too smooth. Too controlled. I caught just enough to know it was watching me. And then I heard it again. One step. Heavy. Deliberate. Not chasing. Closing. I ran, but not blindly. Not at first. I tried to keep some kind of direction, some sense of where the trail should be. But it didn't take long before that started slipping. The forest didn't look the same anymore. Trees that should have been spaced apart felt closer together, like they'd shifted when I wasn't looking. Every path looked almost right, but not enough to trust. My breathing got loud again. Too loud. It echoed in my head, drowning everything else out, and I hated that because it meant I couldn't hear it. I couldn't tell if it was still there, if it was moving, if it was just watching. So I slowed down, just for a second. And that's when I heard it, one step behind me, close, closer than before. I turned fast this time, faster than I thought I could, like maybe I could catch it mid-movement. Nothing. But the trees in front of me, one of them was still swaying slightly, like something large had just passed behind it. And then the smell hit me again, stronger now, rotting, damp, and that sharp metallic edge underneath, like blood. That's when I understood something worse than being followed. It wasn't rushing. It didn't need to, because no matter which way I moved, it was already where I was going. I stopped trying to outpace it. That realization settled in hard, like a weight I couldn't shake. Running wasn't helping. If anything, it felt like I was playing into something I didn't understand, like it wanted me frantic, loud, predictable. So I slowed down, every step careful now, controlled. I forced my breathing quieter, even though my chest felt tight, like it might give out if I pushed it any further. And for a moment, just a moment, the forest almost felt still again. Then I noticed the prints, not behind me, in front of me. I don't know how long they'd been there. I hadn't heard anything move past me, hadn't seen anything cross my path. But there they were, pressed deep into the soil, fresh enough that the edges hadn't settled yet, blocking the way forward. I stared at them, trying to process it, trying to force logic into something that refused to make sense. My mind kept reaching for explanations, but none of them held, because this wasn't just something following me anymore. It was repositioning, cutting me off, guiding me. A cold thought crept in then, quiet but undeniable. This wasn't random. It knew the terrain, better than me, and worse. It knew where I was trying to go before I did. I took a slow step back, eyes still locked on those prints, like they might move if I looked away. The silence pressed in again, thicker now, almost suffocating. And then, from somewhere deeper in the trees, ahead of me, I heard it breathe. It wasn't loud. That's what made it worse. Not a growl, not a snarl, just breath. Deep, steady, controlled. Like it wasn't tired. Like it had all the time in the world. And it was close. Closer than anything that size should have been without me seeing it. I didn't move. I didn't even blink at first. My body just locked up, like some instinct buried deeper than thought had taken over. If it was watching, and I knew it was, then any movement felt like a mistake. Another breath, same place, ahead of me. But then, a shift behind me, subtle, just enough to register. My stomach dropped. Slowly, I turned my head, just a few inches, not enough to fully look, just enough to listen with my eyes. Nothing. But the feeling was there now, stronger than before. Not just being watched, cornered. I was standing between it, or them. That thought hit hard, too hard to ignore. Because the spacing, the movement, the way it had been cutting me off, it didn't feel like one anymore. It felt coordinated, intentional on a different level. I swallowed, my throat dry, and forced myself to take a step back. Then another, trying not to make sound, trying not to show panic. And that's when it happened. To my left, close, something exhaled sharply. Not like before. This was heavier, closer, right at ear level. I flinched, stumbled, and turned fully this time. And for the first time, I saw it. Not clearly, not all at once, just pieces. Height first. Too tall. Shoulders where they shouldn't be. A shape that didn't match anything natural. Fur, dark, uneven, catching what little light filtered through. And the head was wrong, long, narrow, eyes reflecting just enough to catch mine. And then it moved, fast, not away, closer. It closed the distance before I could react. 1 second it was there, half seen, wrong in ways my mind couldn't process, and the next it was on me. Not touching, not grabbing, just there, inside the space I thought I still had. I stumbled back hard, lost my footing, hit the ground with enough force to knock the air out of me. Leaves and dirt filled my mouth, cold and damp, and for a second I couldn't breathe, couldn't move. All I could hear was my own pulse, loud and frantic, drowning everything else out. Then it stepped closer, slow, deliberate. I forced myself up on my elbows, vision shaking, trying to focus. And this time, I saw it clearer. Too tall to be anything natural. Its posture bent slightly forward, like it wasn't built for standing upright, but did it anyway. The limbs were long, too long, ending in hands that weren't quite hands. Clawed, but not like an animal's, something in between. And the face. I wish I could tell you it looked like a wolf. That would make it easier to understand. But it didn't. It looked like something wearing that shape. The snout was too narrow, the jaw too controlled, like it knew exactly how much to show. And the eyes, they weren't wild. They were aware, locked on me in a way that felt deliberate, measured, like it was deciding something. I tried to move. My body didn't listen at first. Panic flooded in fast now, sharp and overwhelming, breaking whatever paralysis had held me still. I scrambled back, heels digging into the dirt, hands slipping against leaves as I tried to get away. It didn't rush me. That's what broke something inside me. It didn't need to. It just followed. 1 step for every 2 of mine. Always closing. Always there. I got to my feet somehow, turned, and ran again. But it felt different now. Useless. Like the outcome had already been decided, and I was just moving through it. Branches tore at my arms. Something sharp caught my leg. But I didn't stop. I couldn't, because behind me, I could hear it now. Not footsteps, breathing, right behind me, closer with every second. And then, something hit me, hard, from the side. I went down again, this time worse. My head slammed against something solid, vision flashing white, ears ringing so loud it drowned everything else. For a moment, there was nothing, no forest, no movement, just that high, empty sound and the taste of iron in my mouth. When it faded, I was on my back, and it was standing over me, clear now, no distance left, no shadows to hide it. Every part of it wrong in a way I can't fully explain. The proportions, the stillness, the way it held itself like it understood exactly what I was, exactly how fragile I was. Its head tilted slightly, studying me, not hungry, not frantic, curious. That was worse than anything. I tried to speak. I don't know why. Maybe to make it stop being real. Maybe to prove I was still something more than prey. But nothing came out. Just a weak, broken sound that didn't even feel like mine. Its hand, if you can call it that, lifted slightly, paused, like it was considering reaching for me. And in that moment, I understood something I wish I hadn't. This wasn't an attack. This was a choice. And I had no idea which way it was going to go. It leaned closer, slow enough that I could see every detail I didn't want to see. The way its chest rose and fell, steady, controlled. The way its head adjusted, just slightly, keeping my eyes locked with its. There was no panic in it, no urgency, just attention. Its hand lowered, not striking, not grabbing. It pressed into the ground beside my head instead, claws sinking into the dirt with a soft, heavy crunch. Close enough that I felt the vibration through the soil. Close enough that if it wanted to, it could have ended it right there. But it didn't. It brought its face closer. I could smell it now, stronger than before. Rot, damp fur, and that metallic edge that made my stomach twist. Its breath washed over me, warm and steady, like it was testing something, like it was trying to understand me the same way I was trying and failing to understand it. I didn't move. I couldn't. Every instinct screamed at me to fight, to run, to do anything. But something deeper held me still, because I knew, in a way that didn't need words, that any sudden movement would be the wrong one. Its eyes shifted, not away, past me, for just a second, and that's when everything changed. From somewhere deeper in the woods, farther out, but not far enough, I heard it. Another breath, same as before, deep, controlled, answering. The one over me froze, completely still. Then its head lifted, turning slightly toward the sound. Its posture changed, not fear, not exactly, but awareness, recognition. I felt it in my chest before I understood it. There wasn't just one, there never had been. The thing above me pulled back just enough to look down at me again, and for the first time, there was something different in its expression. Not curiosity, decision. It stepped away. Just one step. But it was enough. Enough space for me to move. Enough space to run. And I didn't hesitate this time. I rolled, scrambled, forced myself up, and ran harder than I ever had. No direction, no plan, just away. Away from that place, from those sounds, from whatever I had just been spared from. Behind me, I heard movement. Not chasing, not fast, just shifting, like they were letting me go. And that was the part that stayed with me. Because as I broke through the tree line, back toward ground I barely recognized, but knew was safer than where I'd been, I realized something I still can't shake. I didn't escape. I was released. I made it out of the tree line without stopping, without looking back, without even knowing where my truck was at first. My body just moved, driven by something raw and panicked that didn't care about direction, only distance. Branches gave way to thinner brush, then open ground, and eventually something familiar, part of the trail I'd marked earlier. I followed it on instinct alone, barely aware of my surroundings, until I saw the shape of my truck through the trees. That's when my legs finally started to give. I don't remember unlocking the door. I don't remember getting in. Just the sound of it slamming shut, and the sudden, suffocating silence that followed. No forest, no breathing, no presence. Just me, shaking so hard I could barely get the key into the ignition. I sat there longer than I want to admit. Engine off, hands locked around the wheel. Waiting, listening. Part of me expected to hear something tap against the glass, to see movement in the reflection, to feel that same pressure creeping back in. But nothing came. And somehow, that didn't help, because the silence didn't feel empty. It felt like distance, like whatever had been out there didn't need to follow anymore. The drive back was a blur. I don't remember most of it, just flashes, road lines, trees passing too fast, my own reflection in the rearview mirror looking like someone I didn't recognize. I kept checking behind me, over and over. Not because I saw anything, because I thought I might. When I got home, I didn't go inside right away. I just sat there again, engine ticking as it cooled, staring at the tree line at the edge of my property. It's thinner than the forest I'd been in. Manageable, familiar, or at least it used to be. That night it felt different, like it was connected somehow, like distance didn't matter as much as I wanted it to. I told myself I was safe, said it out loud more than once, tried to ground myself in something normal. The house, the light on the porch, the quiet of a place I'd known for years. But even then, stepping out of the truck felt wrong, like I was exposing myself again, like I was crossing into something I didn't fully control. Inside didn't help either. Every room felt too still, too quiet. I kept expecting to hear something out of place, a shift, a breath, something subtle but wrong. I checked the doors twice, the windows, even places I knew didn't need checking. It didn't make a difference. That feeling had followed me, not physically, not in a way I could prove, but it was there. That night, I didn't sleep. I tried, sat on the edge of the bed, lights off, listening the same way I had in the woods, waiting for something I couldn't define. Hours passed like that. Every small sound, pipes, wood settling, distant wind, felt loaded, like it meant more than it should. Sometime past midnight, I heard it, soft, outside, near the tree line. A single step, heavy, measured. My chest tightened instantly. That same cold weight from the forest, settling back into place like it had never left. I didn't move right away. I just listened, every part of me focused on that direction, trying to convince myself it wasn't real. Then it came again, closer. Not rushing, not hiding. The exact same rhythm I'd heard before. I stood up slowly, every movement controlled, like if I went too fast, it would react. I don't know why I went to the window. I knew I shouldn't. Some part of me understood that looking would only make it real again. But I did it anyway. I pulled the curtain back just enough to see the edge of the yard. At first, nothing. Just darkness and the faint outline of trees. Then my eyes adjusted, and I saw where the grass bent. Not randomly, not from wind, from weight. Something standing just beyond where the light reached, still, watching. I couldn't see it fully, not like before. Just shape, height, presence. Enough to know it was there. enough to feel that same locked awareness settle between us again. And then, just like in the woods, it shifted, not forward, not away, just enough to remind me it could move whenever it wanted. I let the curtain fall immediately, like that could undo it, like not seeing it would make it stop being there. My hands were shaking again, worse than before, because this wasn't the forest anymore. This was home, and it had followed. Or maybe it hadn't needed to. That thought sat with me the rest of the night, through the silence, through the waiting, because I never heard it leave. Not once. No retreating steps, no breaking branches, nothing to mark the moment it was gone. Just absence, and that was worse. I checked the yard at sunrise. I don't know why. Maybe I needed proof. Maybe I needed to convince myself it had been something else. There were prints, right at the edge of the light, same as before, deep, deliberate, facing the house. They didn't come closer, but they didn't turn away either. Just there, like a line that hadn't been crossed. I haven't gone back to those woods. I don't plan to. And I know how that sounds. I know what you're probably thinking. That I panicked. That I misread something natural and let it get out of control in my head. I've tried telling myself the same thing. It doesn't hold. Because some nights, when everything's quiet enough, I still hear it. Not in the trees. Closer. A step. Measured. Deliberate. And always at the same distance. Like it's still there. Not hunting. Not chasing. Just keeping track. Waiting for me to move first.